A very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to Story. We've been joined by Mr. Girish Chodankar, who is the president of Goa Pradesh Congress. We are here to discuss a few aspects about what's happening in Goa because, yes, this is a channel that talks about your stories and what are your voices. So, welcome to the segment, Mr. Chodankar. It's a pleasure to have you with us. So, just to quickly, whoever is not familiar with him, he has had quite the journey in the political sphere. He comes from ground politics and he's a teacher by profession. From that, I would like to delve into our very first question and the main question of the segment. Mr. Chodankar, what is your analysis about how the Goa government has been handling the COVID-19 pandemic in our state? And what would be your course of action if you had been in their place? Over to you.
Yeah, see, the issue is whichever issue you handle, I think your utmost sincerity to that issue is most important. Even if you have 99% sincerity and 1% you are not sincere, I think that derails you from what you intend to do. So the first thing is that your sincerity to the problem that you are in your hand, and secondly your openness. You should be open to the ideas. You should not feel one should not feel that he's expert. We are not expert. And so in handling this particular issue, I think what our chief minister and the government missed is roping in the experts, involving the experts. He may be a very small person. There are so many doctors. I feel they were so frustrated because nobody was talking to them. And initially, when this thing happened in Goa, I was in constant touch with those doctors who are at ground level. Our government chief ministers were talking to the cream of the doctors, the top. So they have gone on the basis of the status and what position they were occupying. Government was engaging them. And I was talking continuously to others doctors who are on the ground, who has a lot of practical information, knowledge, and they were updated. And there was a lot of frustrations I could feel among those doctors that they have a lot to contribute, and there was nobody. The authority is not able to connect them, and they were happy that I'm taking up the issues what they were talking to me. So actually, I've become indirectly. I've never disclosed it to the public, but I was talking to them, and then I was talking to the government via meetings, especially idea. Government was listening to me, but was acting maybe 4 or 5 days later on. People don't feel that he's taking the impulse from those doctors through me. So there are a lot of things, especially about testing. I was consistently demanding that we should have the testing labs. That was a basic. And then to put a pressure on the government, I started counting the days. From the day first COVID patient was identified, was detected positive in India, from that day I started counting the days. And unfortunately, on 68th or 69th day, the lab will be established in Goa. That should have been the first step.
Yes.
Number two, our consistent this was that you have the COVID hospital at isolated place. You have good hotels for patients to stay. Instead of some patients may, I mean not the positive, the suspects. They could be comfortable in staying in the isolation place where it was comfortable for them to stay. But government accepted it, but it was later on. Secondly, government was trying to hide some information. In such situation, hiding the information is the greatest disservice to. So hiding, you don't solve the problem. You're on the contrary, you are creating the further problems. So what this government was trying to do, They were trying to hide, and at the same time they were trying to find the means of for them the earnings. I mean the corruption. So government found the COVID-19 is a very fertile ground for the corruption, and that was the tragic part. There was a time when the government should not have made a hurry in declaring Goa as a green zone, because our government wanted a medal that and that the situation has come to us that where we had zero cases of COVID, and the government was making extra enthusiasm, showing extra enthusiasm in declaring it as a green zone, zero, and all that, and all government got the medals, and we got 1,251 positive cases, of which 724 cases are active for the tiny small state of Goa having the population of less than 15 lakhs. So government missed a lot. Government missed a lot.
So there is the part that deals with the pandemic, and there's the part that also dealt with the problems of the people. So say, for example, the laborers who've come to our state to work, who are known as the migrant laborers, they were put into so much problems, inconveniences, people running out of money. And I'm talking like my group of people who've been working on the ground, we came across Goan families who had run out of money, and they did not have money to buy even supplies for themselves. So in this scenario, do you see the failure of the government? And this is in the wake of the Labor Gate scam that has come out also in they have given stipends to laborers, but on the list of people who received this money are actually people who are well-to-do. So what would you comment on these things happening in such a situation of a pandemic?
See, I raised it severally through media, and I raised it when we opened the discussion. This government has seen this COVID-19 situation, pending situation, as the opportunity for a corruption. And we have been warning the government and the officers that don't use this time to make money. There are various equipment that was purchased which was overpriced. There were so many things that were purchased, because here you don't require to put up a tender. So all those procedures had to be done. So this type of situation should not be used and utilized by the government to make money. So labor scam is the one scam, is one eye opener, where actually the money did not go to those who deserved it, who are facing the hardship. It has gone to the BJP office bearer. There are two instances where BJP's Jilla Panchayat candidate was in that list. There were so many BJP office bearers who are having a posh bungalows, and they are registered as the laborers. I don't know where they have worked and what kind of labor they have done. So it was a very open case of corruption. And I'll tell you, we have put the RTI, but we don't expect the reply because of this COVID situation, and they want to hide. But we have been warning the government officers that don't come under the pressure of the politicians to make money. Another problem that Goa faced is the fight between the health minister and the chief minister. And it was well known to everyone, right from bureaucracy to the downline to the public. So they were competing with each other. Rather than they were not fighting with the COVID, they were fighting with each other. And the chief minister and the health minister were working making with the COVID, and this first to the public. So there's a lot of competition between both of them. If they had to work together, I think we would have been much better, because Goa is a very small state, not even one district of a big state. So a lot of things that we could have done, we missed it.
Absolutely, sir. So coming to the second point of the discussion today that I wanted to address with you is the recent price increases. We've had at least like 15 minimum days of consecutive price rises for both petrol as well as diesel. And now diesel is even more expensive than petrol. And today our Prime Minister has addressed the nation, and he's talking about giving sahuliyat to the people uh, who have, you know, who are less fortunate than the others, and that, you know, mehengai, you know, the prices should be coming down and things should become easy. What do you say? You've also held recent dharnas about the price increase. What is your observation about this whole situation?
First of all, I'll come on the BJP's side. They create a side. They create happy. Actually, you're happy, and they try to make people happy, psychologically. You may be recalling that India Shining campaign when Pramod
Yes.
Mahajan, Vajpayee ji, all of them were there. When actually India was not shining, but that it created that situation where India is shining and everything is happy. And then they realized after the counting of the votes. So similar situation, the Prime Minister of the country is right now playing with the mindset, his mindset with the people of India, feeling that Achhe Din, giving the feel of Achhe Din. And actually there is no Achhe Din, but he's creating that feel of Achhe Din like India Shining or feel good factor. So it's like a feel good factor part 2 or version 2 of feel good factor.
It seems
Right
it
now, people
seems a
are
lot like
struggling. People of India are struggling.
it seems a lot like this is like an HR activity that's going on. So we had Thali Bajaoing, the Thali Bajao, the candle lighting. So it was like a series of exercises that were given to us, and you were saying, you know, the feel good factor. So instead of actually addressing the elephant in the room, which is a pandemic and the ensuing bad experiences for people, it's all about creating a false sense of security and that all is well.
There's feel good factor. They are trying to only make things shining, glorifying himself. So it's an exercise to glorify Mr. Narendra Modi. The entire focus of the entire cadre of BJP, entire government machinery is to only glorify the Prime Minister of the country, and make that very glossy picture all around. See, the people are
Yes.
struggling. You have seen how the laborers were working on the road. How many of them had died during demonetization? They died. They died during this pandemic crisis. And India could have been handled very well of President Sri Rahul Gandhi had the Prime Minister much ahead of anybody else. This government never listens to the opposition. And I think they made people suffer. They made people suffer. When you are making a lockdown, there was no planning how to go for a lockdown, and then what to do during the lockdown and what to do after the lockdown. So there was no planning, there was no strategies in the place, and they just tried to make sure some events like a thali bajao, batti jalao, everything. So just to divert the attention, and then there are a lot of bhakt, how they will push you the things. They will take you to the astrology, then they will take you to some other place, and then they will take you away from that elephant that you are talking about. And the same thing is happening in Goa.
Absolutely. So before we
As far as
conclude,
the petroleum is concerned, I think this is the greatest tragedy on the people of India. Government, Modi government has broken the record in the globally. Today, India is the country which takes highest on the petroleum, the excise duty is the highest. Diesel also the highest in the world. So we rank the first for taxing the people on petroleum and diesel. So we have something around 820% excise duty on petrol and around 258% on diesel. And this government during last 6 years has collected around 18 lakhs crores in the form of people of India is the place where the petrol and diesel is the highest in terms of the rate. Even when the global oil price, the crude oil price, is at the bottom. To add to this, our state government has added 25% VAT on it, on the petrol, and around 22% VAT on diesel, where they had promised that it will be 0% VAT during the election time. But now it is, So the people of India is just crushed, and they just crushed, but only that cent is around of the Achedin feel good factor, and people have to live with that.
So thank you so much for talking so nicely and covering these points. So before we conclude today, I just wanted to briefly address another aspect of what I want to cover. The future of Congress in Goa. And without mincing any words, I would like to ask you, since the BJP has been so busy in poaching, like last year what happened, they have poached away 10 MLAs from the Congress. What is the threat that you see, and what is the future plan of Congress in Goa to recover from such a predatory instinct of the BJP that no matter what anybody does, they buy, purchase, and poach away MLAs?
Yeah, so we have been witnessing this not only in Goa but all over the country. They have bags of money, and with that bags of money, they are only shopping the. So I think in future they don't expect anything from the people of, and they are only depending on buying the MLAs of other parties. I think the results of the parliament election where we went last time a year back. If you see the result, Goa, the people have responded very positively to the call of Congress. We have around 7% votes, as against the national trend, wherever Congress and BJP is fighting. So people of Goa has given us around 7% votes more than the last elections. In most of the states, BJP has gained the votes. In Goa, BJP vote has shrunk by around 2.2%. And in terms of seats, we are 1 seat plus. So this is the mood of the people of Goa. Luckily, we were just wanted to test it with elections. ZP elections, luckily, we were fighting well, but on the eve of the elections, it got postponed because of this pandemic situation. But by and large, I think we are taking up the issues that affects the. Although I tendered my resignation a year back, but I was thinking about my resignation. I continued. I said, let them decide whenever they want to decide. But I have been fighting with all the issues along with the entire team of the Congress party and CLP. As far as organizational part is there, because of my resignation issue, we could not reorganize a lot of things. So we required to reorganize our entire organization to give new and to promote basically those who will go and work on the ground in the constituencies for the next 2 years. So right now we need around 10-15 good tough guys who can go in the constituencies and be there for the next 20 months before the election, so that we build our cadre again with good committees and all that. But as far as our other activities are there, it's going on. Only the building of the organization is the right now the priority. And further the building up against this present session, especially the BJP. I think we have to only win the trust of the people. Right now, what we need is to win the trust. Because of our MLAs have shifted the sides, because we could not form the government in 2017, and people have the fear that these 10 MLAs or plus 13 MLAs who have gone, that people feel that we will take them back. I think we have to listen to what people are speaking. And if you go and follow the path of the people, what they say and what they speak and what they demand, I think people will stand by us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chodankar. So with this, we come to the end of our segment today. I once again thank Mr. Girish Chodankar for taking the time to come and talk about such important aspects. I look forward to having story. And to our viewers, Mr. Chodankar also has his official page on Facebook. Please do follow him and like all his activities. And yes, we will conclude. Please voice up your issues and share with us so that we can take your voice forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you so much.